Hello everyone! So I have more books to show you guys as part 2 of my huge book haul. I posted part 1 the other day, and since that was filmed, which was actually a little bit ago, I've acquired a lot more books. And I want to show them all to you because I plan on reading them really soon because they all look super good and I'm just super excited. So I'm not going to go into a lot of detail about what these books are about because there's a lot of them and I want to get through all of them without making a really long video, but I'm going to give you a little bit about them so that you can maybe decide if you want to read it or not. Okay, so the first book I have, I am so excited about, and I've actually already started reading it. It is City of Heavenly Fire by Cassandra Clare. And oh my god, I am so excited about this book. I am on page 268 and I just got it yesterday and I've been super busy so I haven't been able to read a lot of it. But for those of you who don't know about City of Heavenly Fire, you should. If you read books, you know about this Mortal Instruments series. And this is the last one, and look, it's so big. Oh gosh. But I'm so excited to finish this book. I'm also very scared to finish this book, but hopefully Cassie won't destroy my feels too much. The next book I have is actually a classic. It is The Sound and the Fury by Faulkner. And I started reading this in my English class, and we didn't get through the whole book, but I actually found the book really interesting, so I went and bought it for myself so that I could finish it because I was actually really interested in it, and I'm really excited to keep reading this. The next book I have is A Game of Thrones by George R.R. Martin, and many of you have probably heard about the TV show. So it's like a war, medieval, but with a twist of fantasy, and I'm super excited to read it because I've heard amazing things about the TV show, and I'm guessing the books are amazing as well. The next book I have is Life as We Knew It by Susan Beth Pfeffer, I think. And this book is one of 3. The whole series, I believe, is The Last Survivors trilogy. Life as We Knew It, and then The Dead and the Gone, and then This World We Live In. And all of them are basically about this meteor that has hit the moon and knocked it in closer into Earth's orbit. There's earthquakes and volcanic eruptions, and basically it starts like this apocalypse. And this is actually like journal entries about someone that survives it. So that sounds super awesome, and I'm so excited to read it. The next book I have is a book that I actually have to read for my English class next year, and I got it kind of ahead of time because I really want to read it because I've heard really good things about it, and that is The Poisonwood Bible by Barbara Kingsolver. And I don't know much about it. It's about this family, and the father's a preacher, and they live somewhere in Africa, and it's during like a war in Africa, and I don't know much about it, but I've heard amazing things about it, and I'm very excited to read it. The next book I have to show you guys is Cinder by Marissa Meyer. If you don't know what Cinder is about, I actually do know what this book is about, and it is about a girl, and she is a cyborg, and she lives on an Earth where androids and humans live together, and there's actually this group of like outer space people looking down on Earth and like formulating a plan, and what nobody knows is that Cinder is the person that needs to save the Earth. So obviously that sounds really awesome, and I'm just super excited to read it, and I will probably get to it really soon. Next, I have Me and Earl and the Dying Girl by Jessie Andrews. I've heard such good things about this book from Raylene over at Padfoot and Prongs 07, and she just rants and raves about this book. It's one of her favorites, and I don't know much about it. I know that the dying girl is a girl with cancer. This guy, his parents want him to be friends with this girl his senior year of high school, and it kind of changes his life. And that's all I really know about it, but I'm so excited to read it because it sounds awesome and I've heard it's phenomenal. Next, I actually got this book as a bargain buy, and it was just so cheap, and I've seen it a lot, and I was just intrigued. So I read the inside cover, and it actually sparked an interest in me because it has to do with something that I'm interested in. And it is Struck by Lightning by Colfer. And many of you probably know Colfer from Glee, but he did write a book, and it's not an autobiography. It's a fiction book, and it's about a kid, and he's an aspiring journalist. And in order to get into this school that he really wants to get into to be a journalist, he has to start a school newspaper. And that is what this book is about, and it sounds hilarious and witty and funny, and I'm just so excited to read it because I love Colfer. The next book I have is the Booksplosion book of the month, and that is We Were Liars by Lockhart. If you don't know what Booksplosion is, it's a book group, and every month they read a different book. I know some of the booktubers involved are Jessie the Reader, Poland Bananas Books, Ariel Bissett. I don't know any other ones. I know there's more people involved, but those are the three big ones that I know are involved. And this is the book they chose for June. And I don't know anything about it. The synopsis is very vague, but it sounds very awesome. And this is probably the first book I will read right after I finish City of Heavenly Fire. So look out for a book talk on this one very, very soon. The next book that I have to show you guys is actually a book that I just stumbled upon, and the cover and the title intrigued me. And it is Stolen by Lucy Christopher. And it is about a girl, and she gets kidnapped, and she starts to fall in love with her kidnapper. And it says, written as a letter from a victim to her captor, this is Gemma's desperate story of survival. Ty has stolen her body against her every instant, screaming inside her. Will he also steal Gemma's heart? And it just sounds so interesting because she's writing a letter to her captor. I'm like, this is such a touchy subject because it's about kidnap, about violating someone's body, but then there's that twist of, is it impossible to fall in love with someone that violates you? Because, you know, you see it all the time, like abuse in relationships and everything, and you think, how can they be in love with that person? But I don't know. I think that you can be. And I think it's harder and more complex than most people imagine. And this book touches on this touchy subject, but I can't imagine that it will be anything other than amazing. So I'm very excited to read this one as well. The very last book I have to show you all is Shadow and Bone by Leigh Bardugo. And the back is kind of confusing. It's kind of hard to describe, but basically this girl lives in Russia during a time called the Border Wars. She gets brought into the royal court to be trained as a magical elite because apparently her power can help Russia win the border wars. And it sounds really awesome, and I'm actually going to Los Angeles in a few days, and I will be attending her book release party for the third one, Ruin and Rising. And that is June 16th in Los Angeles, and I am going to have to read Shadow and Bone and Siege and Storm before I go, and I hope to be showing you guys a book talk very, very soon on this one. That's all the books I have to show you guys. If you haven't seen the first part of this book haul, then I will link it down below, and I will hopefully be getting book talks to you guys on all of these books soon. They all sound so interesting, and I just don't know what order to read them in because they're all awesome. And yeah, I'm just super excited to read all of them. So thanks for watching, and if you're interested in buying any of these books, I will list all of them down below, and I will give you a link to where you guys can buy them for super cheap. So thanks for watching, guys. Bye!